been using YouTube for probably an entire decade now, and there's a group of YouTube channels that I've always heard about but never really watched before, and that is toy review channels. I mean, obviously, I admit that I'm probably not the target audience, but one of these channels in recent years has taken an average American boy from an average American family and turned him into one of the richest kids in the entire world. But as you can expect, when you climb up YouTube's ladder of fame and reputation so fast, not everything is as good as it seems. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the dark and shady truth behind Ryan's world. Ryan Kajai is not like any of his classmates. He's a huge celebrity and one of the most affluent kids that the world has ever seen. According to Forbes, in 2020, Ryan made an eye-watering amount of money, approximately $29.5 million. This made him the highest paid YouTuber of that year on the entire platform, which is crazy to believe since Ryan isn't even half the age of other super rich YouTube celebrities like Jeffree Star and Mr. Beast. When you take a look at the Ryan's World channel, everything makes it seem like Ryan is living every kid's dream. He gets to play with the coolest new trending toys, he goes on lots of trips, and just spends every second of his life having the time of his life, and getting super rich while doing it. Or so you'd think. But there's actually a huge dark side to the channel and family, which is quietly kept away from all of the viewers. One of the biggest secrets that the Kajai family have tried to push to the back of the closet involves Ryan's own mother and her less than child-friendly cast. In 2002, Ryan's mom, Loanne Kajai, was just 18 years old, and in June of that year, she was caught shoplifting at a store in her local city, Houston, Texas. She attempted to steal around $100 worth of clothes, but was caught by security and then taken into police custody, where she was given a $150 fine for the clothes, as well as community service and a 6-month probation. But it seemed like Loanne didn't really see how serious community service was, as she basically just refused to do any of it. She didn't report to her community supervisor or carry out any actual community service. Because of this, she was arrested for a second time, and this time she spent 2 months in Houston Harris County Jail. But she only spent 30 days in the jail, and when she was released, she was never arrested again. After her brief stay in jail, Loanne would then meet Cheyenne, also known as Ryan's dad. The couple would have their first child, Ryan, on October 6, 2011, and in 2015, at just 3 years old, Ryan apparently asked his mom, "Why am I not on YouTube when all of the other kids are?" after seeing a video of a kid playing with toys and doing reviews.
When I was 3, I was watching other people and I was like, why am I not on there? And
shortly after having this conversation with his mom, the Ryan Toys Review channel would be set up by Ryan's parents. And in July of that year, the family had their first successful video, which gained 20 million views in just a couple of weeks. From this point forward, the family would start to post videos every single day. And this raised concerns for Ryan's well-being. According to his parents, Ryan enjoys and wants to be a part of the channel, which isn't always the case in these family-based YouTube channels.
No more fun for you.
But even with everything seemingly innocent, there is still a lot of speculation as to whether Ryan is being exploited by his parents. This is because Ryan is not the same age now as when the channel began. In the channel's earlier days, Ryan's mom would simply take him to a toy store and buy Ryan toys so that he would make a YouTube video to open and play with them. However, now Ryan is 10 years old, and with all of the riches that the channel has generated, it's unlikely that reviewing toys is much interest to him anymore. The channel also updates every single day, and I'm sure y'all can remember that when you were kids, there were some days when you really just wanted to stay in bed all day or just do whatever you wanted. Whereas for Ryan, it looks like he rarely gets a day off. Ryan's parents have also been criticized for how they run the channel, because they often do not specify when content in their videos has been sponsored by a big company. This is a big problem because most of Ryan's World videos are kids that are probably anywhere up to 6 years old, and they're not going to be able to tell if if what they are watching is actually a review made by a child or just an advertisement to make them cry to their parents about wanting a new toy that they don't need. Ryan's parents have even been compared to cigarette and vape companies because of this, as they advertise products to an audience that cannot see they are being manipulated into wanting something. In an article made by Fatherly, two parents also aired out their frustrations with the channel, as they claimed that their kids were becoming addicted to watching the Ryan's World channel and didn't realize that they were being fed consumerism and advertisements. In the article, a mother called Becky says, "My 4-year-old son used to be addicted to watching Ryan until I pulled the plug. I gave him his old iPad just to keep him entertained while I was busy, and I downloaded this YouTube app for kids. The one show that he kept begging to have was Ryan, and I was like, who is that? I sat down and watched it with him, and I was just appalled because there's just all these new toys that kids get every single show. It never shows him playing with the same toys. It's really excessive. It teaches all this consumerism to kids, and I didn't like it. And what got me really floored was when Ryan had his shirt with all these company logos. I couldn't believe it. He's only like 8 years old, I think. He's a little child. I couldn't do it to my kid. Like, my kid is really photogenic. He's a very beautiful child, you know? He asked a couple times to have his own videos, and I just wouldn't do that. I just don't know how they sleep at night. It gets me really fired up. Becky wasn't the only person who was getting annoyed at how Ryan's World channel was manipulating children. Another parent called Marcus spoke up about his child's behavior after watching Ryan, saying, "I noticed an uptick in this behavior where every time he goes to a store he wants something. Because he's like, oh, there's stuff in here and I see other kids getting a new thing every day all the time, and why can't I have that?" He then added, "There's no thought to what kind of long-term impact that's going to have on how they live their life. It makes kids think I see something that I want and everyone else can have it at no cost to them. Why can't I have it at no cost to me? I should be able to have everything I ever want. And you can't live that way." Whatever you feel about family channels on YouTube, especially the big ones like Ryan's World, it's clear to see that they're reshaping the minds of children to adapt to wanting new things constantly, every single day. But no matter what happens to the future of Ryan's World, when Ryan Kajai gets older, there will probably be another kid raised on his videos to take his place.